Welcome back to Reddit Boss, Ask Reddit, and in today's video, what super obvious thing did you only recently realize? Let's get to the video. That in order to properly use a hand dryer, you have to rub your hands. I used to just put my hands under it and question why was it taking so long. But then I saw one of my friends rubbing their hands and I felt stupid. Tip: rub the back of each hand against the palm of the other, switching back and forth with the palm towards the air. I just learned this the other day and it gets my hands super dry quickly. The goal is to spread the water out as much as possible to increase its surface area and thus the evaporation rate. I was playing Monopoly and I saw someone owned a load of properties all clustered together. I said, "You got a bit of Monopoly on that part of the board." Hey, that's funny because we're playing Monopoly and you get oh, I see now. Also, the fact that the game is supposed to be unfair, introducing the rules that follow money back into circulation, like the pot and free parking. Keep the game going forever because no one gets screwed into bankruptcy because the system is more fair and sustainable. I also found it funny how Abby songs fit the movie Mamma Mia so well. It took me years to figure out the movie was made around the songs. I refused to watch real story movies till I was about 8. Thought real story means they literally follow people in everyday life and was freaked out about how many people are just watching real people get killed and whatnot, enjoying it. It's kind of understandable to believe that when you're a child, I was already an adult when Mamma Mia came out. That a screensaver has a purpose, and it literally saves your screen from an image being burned into it. I'm 37. My grandmother watches QVC all the time. She once had a television that literally had a product for sale burned on the screen. Fun fact, I used to work for HSN in production, and it was told to me that the company had replaced several customers' television sets because the HSN logo got burned into the screen. Obviously, this was only for high spenders. We don't want them getting angry at us and not wasting all their money on us. This is why news networks have animated logos so they can avoid the burn-in. 42 here. In the song Jingle Bells, Batman smiles, Robin laid an egg. I never knew why Robin would lay an egg. It seems so random and weird to me. Just this winter, walking down a hallway at work, it finally clicked into place. Robins are birds. Birds lay eggs. Yep, sharp tack over here. This is the first one in the thread that I just learned for the first time. I was picturing a grown man child laying an egg. I realized that the aquarium walls are reflective on the inside once they're filled with water. I've kept a goldfish for the past decade, so I should have noticed, but the goldfish also aren't really territorial, so he never minded, and I kept a better fish now, and he's very mad at his reflection. I only realized 2 weeks ago that he'd never even have one. Depends on viewing angle. Light conditions are a lot more important than viewing angle. Trying to see from the bright side into the dim side will give you reflections. So when the aquarium lights are on, it is like mirror box inside. With the lights off, they can probably see out pretty well. When my son was young and ABBA Take a Chance on Me came on, I sang, "Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan." My son sang it too. As an adult, he also called me horrified. "Mom, you lied to me all my life." I was driving and the Jackie Chan song came on. I turned it up and rolled down the windows, started to chant the songs and realized they were not singing Jackie Chan. My whole childhood was a lie. I have laughed so hard in years. He still hasn't forgiven me. About 6 months ago, I had an epiphany while opening up a new deodorant. I realized that I could click it up from the bottom and just remove the plastic top once the deodorant had rised up a bit. I've always pulled the plastic piece off before raising the deodorant, like tugging on it, using my teeth, etc. I'm 36 old. I've had an engineering degree. I came out the bottom and told my husband about it. I think it made him reevaluate why he was doing with me. LOL. Then I called my mom to let her know she failed that step of parenting me. I just clued my husband in on this about a month ago. He was struggling to get the plastic piece out. And then I was like, oh, you just click it up and it comes right off. His mind was blown. It was great. There was really pretty girl in high school who bugged the crap out of me. Would do obnoxious stuff like go out of her way and talk to me about nothing. And one time she laid on me when I had my head down on my desk. She would take my erasers and draw on them, and I hated that. Then I realized she probably liked me. I realized that out of the blue when I was in my 30s. So watch out, ladies. If you show an affection towards me, in 15 to 20 years, I'll be knocking on your door, still unsure of your intentions. I recently had a similar revelation with the word factitious. It is one of my parents said a lot, but I didn't see written until a good deal older. The context saw it was written and also used in slightly different than I used it to. So I had factitious spoken and factitious written in my vocabulary at the same time. I try to use the written version in conversation a few times, pronouncing it more like fa-ti-I-shus, and I got some weird looks, but no one ever asked me what I was trying to say. About a month ago, I saw it written once again, wondered if the weird looks were because I was pronouncing it wrong, and suddenly I realized I'm a moron. Similar words which suffer from this are sehu pitami. I've heard people pronounce them as sigu and epitome before, rather than sigue and epitome. Furthermore, I've seen people write the word sigu and sigue as in the brand name. And yes, the brand name does come from the word, meaning to move, uninterrupted from one place to another. In Life in the Fast Lane by Eagles, Hannely sings, there were lines on the mirror, lines on her face. She pretended not to notice. She was caught up in the race. When I first heard it, I was 13 or so. I was super deep. Also, my perception song never changed. I assumed that they were talking about a cracked mirror reflecting her cracked psyche. And the race was the struggle to get in my life. And the race was the struggle to get by in life, which is something every 13-year-old knows about. Also, 10 days ago, I listened to it again, and it was like, son of a, they're talking about cocaine. I'm 31 now. I text my dad to inform him my revelation, and he said, quote, yeah, no crap, son. And then a few hours later, hey, son, you think that lady actually brought a stairway to heaven? Choosing to be happy means choosing to do things that will make you happy. Just like when you choose to not be hungry, you have to make food, or when you need to crap, you go to find a toilet. Happiness is a decision that requires effort to accomplish. I've been in a really rough place the last few months, sleeping a lot, not leaving the house, not eating consistently or well, making the decision to wake up at more regular times and eat better, and get out and walk first thing in the morning has provided a lot of relief from a journal amount of effort and planning. That people knew that I'm a gay guy. All of my friends said the same thing, I know. I asked them how, and they said it's super obvious and it shows on how I walk, the way I speak, the way I dress, and how I look. Super interested when a classmate that I have crush on comes over to talk. I'm 14 and yet told my parents. I just told my very close friends this. Your parents already know? Not at all. Guaranteed. My younger brother was obvious gay, My parents were still blindsided when he came out. While trying to lose weight a few years ago, I was doing a lot of research and finally understood how you truly lose weight, as in, if I diet and lose 15 pounds, where did it go? How did that mess up exit my body? I think a misconception that a lot of people have, I know I did. It is that somehow you lose weight through a combination of pooping, peeing, and sweating. And that if exercise, for example, somehow you increase the amount you excrete through those processes, while this is sort of true for sweating. In reality, the water weight you lose is just temporary. You're a kind of dry sponge. At that point, if you hydrate yourself properly, that weight will come back. Exercise does not increase how much you poop or pee, though defecating, for example, is just the waste left over from whatever food you ate, and it doesn't change with exercise. The way that your body truly loses weight is through breathing. When you inhale, you are taking oxygen, which then chemically reacts with certain energy-dense molecules in your cells, hopefully fat cells. This chemical reaction then breaks down the molecules, which then releases the energy required by the body to live. The byproduct of this reaction is CO2 and water, which are expelled when you exhale. That is when exercising helps you lose weight, because it requires more energy. To get that energy, you have to breathe in more oxygen, so more of those molecules can be broken down and their mass expelled from your body through breathing, which you are doing a lot more of while exercising. It doesn't seem like it. It will be that much, but it adds up over time. Just get an idea of how much you can do the following experiment. Weigh yourself right before you go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, weigh yourself again. Usually you see that weight less in the morning. Of course, if you got up in the night to pee, that will all account for some of it, because I've found I can lose up to 1 pound even without peeing. All that is just what I lost from breathing while sleeping. That you have actually put together a trampoline. I'm 27 and I legitimately always thought they always just folded in half or something, until someone said it's so difficult to pull the tarp across. I had to pull my boyfriend aside to ask what the heck they were talking about. You can just rip duct tape? Me and one of the managers at work were repairing a box and with the duct tape, and he ripped it easily and said, "How the hell did you just rip duct tape?" And he looked at me weird and said, "What do you mean? You're supposed to." That was the day I learned that I had wasted so much time looking for scissors. When I bought my new car, which is a manual, I accidentally stalled it. And when I pressed the clutch, it started automatically. I figured it was a neat addition to help useless drivers who stall their cars a lot. Then I realized it also does it when in neutral and my foot is off the clutch. Didn't give it much thought and rarely used the function. About 5 years later, I realized it's designed to save fuel. The little green leaf symbol on the on and off button didn't help me either. Felt so dumb. The word turkey really comes from Turkey, but there's more. Turkeys came from India, an Ottoman Empire, which they call Indian chicken, and then the chicken were dropped after time. The Ottomans started to call those chickens Indian in their language. Then the Europeans take from the Ottomans and call them Turkish chicken or something. Same thing happened, and chickens was dropped. Turks still can call it Indian. English people still call it turkey. Tomatoes and potatoes are very closely related. I've never really considered the plant that grows from potatoes and the tomato-like fruit they produce. This grew my curiosity and nightshades, and my mind blew when I discovered all the common fruits and plants belonging to this family. I'm fascinated by them and plan on growing many kinds as I can, edible or not. Fruits, not vegetables. Not recent, but growing up, my school didn't teach any form of geography until 7th grade. 14-year-old me was quite surprised to learn that the president didn't live in the large state in the northwest of the country, but really in this tiny little speck snuggled in between Maryland and Virginia. It didn't explain a lot better when everyone was mentioning fears of the whole of the White House being another possible attack site during 9/11. At the time, 10-year-old me thought the White House would probably be just fine, 'cause, it was far away and all. Didn't see what the grown-ups were freaking out for. Thank you for watching, Reddit Boss. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day.